Recap Star Army, welcome back to the channel. Today I have a challenge for you. This isn't just a regular recap, this is a roller coaster ride of emotions. I advise the faint of hearting to turn back now because once we cross this line, there is no return. If you think you can handle the excitement, then buckle up and let the show begin. The movie kicks off with Sudep, who is this famous loaded businessman whose favorite hobby is shooting. He grabs his rifle and keeps firing at targets, showing off that he's a total badass and can hit them all. But then his friend William, who works with him at the company, arrives and tells him, "Come on, wrap it up. We have an important meeting in 5 minutes and we gotta make it." But Sudep tells him, "Nah, we don't have to make it or anything. Besides, we've been working our whole lives. Let's spoil ourselves a bit. Don't be so uptight." Sudep ditches him and heads over to a girl standing in the same spot practicing her aim. Sudep stands behind her and pretends, like he's helping her improve her skills. Because nothing screams professional mentor like invading someone's personal space to teach them how to hold a stick. Anyway, let's leave this garbage and move on to Bindu. She is a fine artist who is just starting out. And of course, she's stuck with a tight deadline and is sitting there stressing out, wanting to finish the statue before the client gives her grief. Right in the middle of her focus, trying her best to finish, the power suddenly goes out, because of course the whole operation needed a delay. As if that jinxed statue refusing to go right wasn't enough. The universe clearly has a personal vendetta against her art career today. Anyway, luckily, she has a neighbor living opposite her named Nani, and this guy is obviously crushing on her. It's a known fact. When he sees her standing at the window unable to work because there's no light, he runs and keeps thinking until he invents something simple within his means. But this thing actually manages to light up the whole place. Of course, Bindu is able to see, and she rushes back to work by the light of this invention until she finishes the statue, while Nani stands there the whole time watching her. He's watching her, waiting for any reaction, but she finishes her statue, slams the window in his face, and goes to sleep. If Friend-Zoned had a face, it would be Nani right now. Anyway, Nani's friend is standing there and sees everything that happened. So he goes to Nani and says, "What is wrong with you, dude? Did you find your dignity in the street or what? After she took what she wanted from you, she shut the window in your face." But Nani tells him, "No, of course not. You're judging her wrong. She just did that to let me know she's going to sleep instead of leaving me standing here all day." That level of delusion honestly deserves an Olympic gold medal. Anyway, naturally when his friend sees him in this pathetic state, he refuses to even reply. We then move to the next day where Sudep is throwing a party to celebrate 3 years since founding his company, and he invites all his clients. He goes to one of the clients to say hello. The client hands him a file and tells him there's a surprise inside. When Sudep opens it, he finds the client has signed the contract, and he's surprised. What is this? How did he sign it when he was so stubborn and refused to sign anything? Sudep keeps wondering what made the client change his mind until he sees the client's wife, and she turns out to be the same girl he was teaching how to aim at the beginning. And thank God the aiming worked and she snagged the client. Here we realize she's the one who convinced her husband to sign the contract. Sudep goes to thank her for what she did and tells her he wants to teach her some new rules in shooting so she doesn't miss out on anything. And then we find out the reason for all this cash Sudep has. It's actually his wife, or rather the late wife, because he killed her, took all the money she had and built his fortune with it. Talk about a toxic relationship, literally lethal. Anyway, we go back to Bindu and we learn that besides her art job, she also volunteers at a charity. The charity is supposed to give money to the poor who can't support themselves, and also provides money for children to enter schools and buy books. But the problem is when she sits with the rest of the people working at the charity to calculate the cost they need, they discover they still need more money. Bindu doesn't know what to do until one of her coworkers tells her, "I have the solution. There's a businessman named Sudep, a man who loves doing good, and surely if you asked him to fund this place, he'll pay up." So she decides to go to Sudep, and indeed, the next day, Bindu goes to Sudep's office. Of course, the moment he sees her, he gets lost in her beauty, and Bindu tells him she wants money for her charity. Sudep stands there spacing out for a bit until he tells her the sweetest check for the sweetest charity, and hands her a check with a sum to help her out. I'm sure if I asked him for money, he'd call security, but pretty privilege is real, folks. Anyway, when Bindu looks at the check, she is super surprised because the number on it is huge, even bigger than what she asked for. She takes the money and goes to distribute it to all the kids in her neighborhood, and her coworkers ask her, "Where did you get all this money?" She tells them that Sudep is a very kind man whose heart is full of faith, and he's the one who helped her. Afterward, we see Sudep in the street, so Bindu thanks him for everything he did for her, and Sudep says, "Why don't we go grab lunch somewhere?" Bindu agrees immediately. It's all for the sake of the charity. We don't want to judge anyone here. When the two sit together and everything is going fine, Nani calls Bindu and tells her he has arrived and is at the same place she's invited to. Of course, Bindu's confused. I mean, should she leave the guy who gave her all this money and invited her to lunch just like that? Or the other guy, Nani? I mean, he did stay up all night to fix the light too. The problem is, Sudip interrupts her thoughts. He realizes she got tense when she received a message from Nani, but he continues the date normally until they finish, and he takes Bindu to drive her home. Nothing ruins a manipulative villain's date like a text from the nice guy next door. Anyway, naturally, Nani follows them, and when Bindu sees him, she tells Sudip she needs to get out. Of course, he keeps following her to see where she's going until he finds her walking with Nani. Here, he starts burning through cigarettes in anger, saying, "I am Sudip, the one nobody says no to, and some loser client like Nani comes to steal the girl from me? All right, I'll show him who I am." Dude needs to chill. She's a human being, not a limited edition sneaker. Anyway, the next day, Bindu is sitting in her office until it gets late, and she doesn't want to go home alone, so she calls Nani to come pick her up. He, of course, can't believe his luck and runs to get to her. When she tells him she doesn't want to be keeping him from anything, he tells her that there is nothing more precious than her, and if she wants help at any time, he'll be there. Bindu falls for him because she realizes he truly loves her. After he drops her home, he crosses the road to go to his house, but a car cuts him off and Sudip's men get out to kidnap him. They take him to a place to tie him to a tree and beat the living daylights out of him, and he naturally doesn't understand anything or why he is even here. Then Sudip himself arrives and also keeps beating Nani, who tells him, "Just a second, I don't have a problem being beaten, but I want to understand why I'm being beaten." Maybe read the room, Nani? You're tied to a tree. It's not exactly a meet and greet. Anyway, Sudip tells him, "How about if you don't stay away from Bindu, I'll kill you." But of course, Nani tells him, "No, I can never leave her because we love each other." So Sudip starts beating him after the words provoke him until Nani falls to the ground, dead. At that exact moment, Bindu calls to tell him she loves him, but unfortunately, it's over. The guy is dead. He was sitting in front of you for 2 years fixing electricity and water. Anyway, his soul leaves his body and keeps moving until it enters inside a fly egg. Yes, just like you heard, a fly egg. Out of all the majestic creatures in the animal kingdom, he gets the one that eats trash. Tough break. Anyway, the next day, people find Nani's body thrown in the street, and Bindu hears the news and goes there sad and unable to believe what happened, and she actually sees his body lying on the road. Instead of the police investigating the case, they say it was a road accident that led to his death, and that's it. The investigation is closed, basically. We now go to Nani, who is now a fly, but of course, he doesn't realize this yet. He keeps wondering why everything looks so huge to him until he finally figures out that he has become a fly and anyone could kill him. He keeps trying to learn how to fly until he finally flies and goes to a place with kids to play with them, but he finds the situation is dangerous and every few seconds a bird wants to kill him. It's like A Bug's Life, but with more murder attempts and less singing. Anyway, after he gets away from all that, he finds himself in front of Sudip, and memories of his life as a human come back to him, and he realizes Sudip is the one who killed him. So he decides to take revenge on him and flies at him, but of course he's a fly, so he can't do anything, and he's also scared because Sudip could kill him easily, and this time his soul isn't guaranteed to go to someone else, and even if it did, we don't need that. This time a fly, next time it could be an ant. Anyway, Nani remembers his girlfriend, so he decides to go see how she is doing now and who is comforting her. When he arrives, he finds her talking about him, saying how much she misses him and how much losing him has upset her, and Nani is happy that she still loves him. Then Sudip arrives at her office to, offer condolences for her friend, which is fake, obviously. Nani tries to annoy him again, entering his ear and doing weird stuff. Sudip leaves afterward and goes to get a massage, and enters this weird sauna thing. Nani takes the chance and keeps annoying Sudip until Sudip doesn't know what to do while flailing around in the box he's in. He could have died, but someone arrives at the last moment to help him. I don't know who is more traumatized here, Sudip or the fly seeing Sudip naked. Anyway, of course through all this, Sudip doesn't understand what's happening and he can't possibly suspect a fly is targeting him, but he feels like something wrong has started happening to him. The next day, he goes to his company to find Bindu and the rest of the charity workers coming to discuss the money he's going to pay. Nani is also standing there listening to everything. When Sudip goes home to sleep, Nani goes to him and keeps bugging him all night, making him unable to sleep until Sudip wraps himself in the cover so the fly can't get to him. The mighty businessman defeated by a buzzing sound. Pathetic. Anyway, of course he can't sleep well, so he oversleeps and doesn't wake up until Bindu calls him saying, "Looks like you forgot the appointment you agreed on with me." He tells her, "No, of course not. Shame on you. I could forget anything in the world, but I wouldn't forget your appointment." and he gets up quickly to rush and meet Bindu before she gets mad at him. He gets in his car and drives fast, and at the same time, Nani lands on a traffic cop's face and keeps annoying him, so he keeps swatting the fly away. People think the cop is signaling to open the road because apparently the invention of traffic lights hasn't reached them yet, so all the cars crash into each other and the road gets blocked. I guess hand signals are open to interpretation in this city. Anyway, Sudep gets out of his car and starts slapping whoever is standing in front of him until he makes them open the road for him, and he takes his car and leaves at top speed. But Nani is still in the car. He goes and stands right in front of Sudep's eyes so he can't see anything, causing him to crash and flip the car. Nani gets out of the car and writes on the windshield that he will kill Sudep soon. Sudep comes out of the car totally wrecked, but the ambulance manages to save him and they take him to his office. There, he starts telling his employees that there is a fly that wants to kill him, but surely they all think he's gone crazy. So Sudep decides to get bug spray and keeps holding it so if the fly gets close, he can kill it. Nani stays standing in his office, not wanting to make a sound so he doesn't die, until Bindu enters, worried about Sudep, going to check on him. Nani gets jealous of this situation and goes to hit Sudep, but Bindu grabs the bug spray to spray it on Nani herself. He falls to the ground feeling betrayed, obviously. Luckily for him, he falls onto some plants that someone was watering, so his body gets cleaned of the pesticide and he manages to live again. Sudep decides he must find out the secret of this fly that wants to kill him. So he goes to a scientist and asks, "What would make a fly want to kill me?" The doctor tells him that's nonsense. There are no flies that want to kill humans. When Sudep leaves to go back home, on the way he finds a man covering his face who tells him, "You wronged people. That's why you will go bankrupt, and all this money you have will disappear." Sudep tells him, "Man, am I dealing with you too? Is it going to be you or the fly?" Anyway, at the same time, Nani goes to his girlfriend and finds her crying because she remembered him. He writes his name with her tears so she notices and knows that the fly is her lover who she thinks is dead. That is both incredibly romantic and scientifically impossible, but we roll with it. Anyway, she holds the fly on her hand to ask him what happened. By the way, if you are watching this video and there is a fly next to you, you don't have to kill it. Give it a chance. Maybe it wants to send you a message. Anyway, here Bindu knows everything and that this fly is Nani. Of course, she doesn't believe what happened because she saw his body with her own eyes, but she understands from him that Sudep is the reason for what happened to him. He shows her that Sudep killed him because he loves her. When Bindu learns what happened, her conscience hurts her and she wants to help Nani in any way. So she makes him goggles so the bug spray won't reach him. And indeed, after that he keeps annoying Sudep who keeps spraying pesticide on him, but to no avail. He looks like a tiny aviator pilot, which is kind of adorable if he wasn't trying to commit murder. Anyway, one day, Sudep is sleeping on his bed and leaves a lit cigarette next to him, so Nani takes it and runs with it until he burns the bed Sudep is sleeping on. But Sudep manages to escape without getting hurt. Nani goes back to Bindu to come up with a plan to get rid of Sudep. Bindu tells him she saw a pipe in Sudep's closet, and if gunpowder is put in it and lit, it will shoot like a bullet and finish Sudep off. And of course, no one will suspect a fly. Bindu actually does some experiments on this gunpowder until it works. Nani takes it with him and keeps putting it into the pipe in Sudep's office until he fills it up and everything is ready for the explosion. But unfortunately, someone goes into the office and stuffs a tissue in the pipe because he's a gross person, and naturally, the plan fails. Because Sudep is now traumatized by all insects after what Nani did to him, he decides to install gates and windows in his office that prevent insects from entering, and if any insect tries to cross, it gets burned and dies. Nani sees this situation and rushes to tell Bindu, who reassures him saying she will handle it herself. She goes to Sudep's office the next day and uses a coin she has to unscrew a screw in the window so Nani can enter freely. But Sudep walks in on her and comes up from behind to act all romantic and stuff. Of course, Nani gets annoyed and goes inside his shirt and keeps biting him until Sudep gets fed up, leaves her, and walks away. Anyway, the next day Sudep is holding a big meeting at the company, supposed to decide on many fateful things. But of course, because he was afraid of the fly all this time, he wasn't sleeping well. You could say he wasn't sleeping at all. This makes him unable to understand what is being said in the meeting, and he sits there unfocused until it's his turn to speak. So he tells them, "I think the best investment that can be made these days is for us to buy some bug spray so life becomes sweet and we make good money." That has to be the worst Shark Tank pitch ever. Anyway, Of course, everyone sitting there doesn't understand what this nonsense talk is, and they sit there surprised to seeing Sudep talking and then falling asleep on the table every few seconds. Naturally, Nani doesn't leave him alone and goes to stand on the face of one of the investors sitting in the meeting. As soon as Sudep sees him, he screams, "That's the one I want to finish off," and runs at Nani to hit him. But Nani flies away quickly and Sudep lands a slap on the back of the investor's neck. The investor is shocked and asks, "Did you bring me here to humiliate me or what?" But Sudep doesn't stop there. He continues with his madness, and whenever he sees Nani standing on someone's head, he goes and hits them on the face until everyone present gets fed up, leaves the place, and walks out. Obviously, after what happened to them, they call the tax authorities and tell them that Sudep is actually dodging taxes and hasn't paid a lot of money he owes. The tax guys arrive quickly. Sudep runs to the safe quickly to open it and brings fire to break the safe open. But Nani goes to him and keeps bugging him while he doesn't know what to do until the fire gun falls from his hand, the safe door opens, and the fire falls onto the money inside, burning it all. Sudep sits in front of the safe, unable to believe that all this happened and that he lost all his money. That's one way to deal with inflation, I guess. Anyway, he remembers the man who told him he would lose all his money soon and become poor again like he was before killing his wife. So he decides to go to the same place where he met that man to ask him how he knew all this would happen. He goes to the garbage dump where he met the man and keeps looking for him like a crazy person until he finds him standing there lighting a fire and doing some high-level stuff. Sudep asks him who he is and how did he know all my money would burn and I'd become poor again. The man tells him he is a sorcerer and knows everything about the future, and when he met Sudep before, he saw everything that had happened in the past. Sudep tells him, "Okay, since you're so powerful and know everything like you say, there is a fly that drove me crazy and wants to kill me. I want to know why this is happening." The sorcerer tells him that this fly is Nani, whom he killed back in the day because he loved Bindu. He also tells him he can help him and does some magic. Anyway, he creates two birds that look terrifying and their job is to kill Nani easily if they see him. Because apparently every solid business plan needs a consultation with a dump-dwelling wizard. Anyway, the next day, Sudep sits there focused to know exactly what is happening with him, reviews all the cameras and sees who is behind the fly. He finds that Bindu was helping the fly and she is the one who opened a part of the window for him. So, Sudep waits until Bindu comes to him and kidnaps her because he knows Nani loves her and will surely come, and then he can blackmail him freely and make him do whatever he wants. And indeed, Nani arrives to save his girlfriend and Sudep is standing there waiting for him. As soon as he arrives, Sudep tells him, "Today will be the last day of your life, and I will kill you as an insect just like I killed you as a human." He keeps attacking him and wants to stomp on him with his foot, but Nani gets a sewing needle and sets it on the ground so Sudep steps on it and his foot gets injured. At that moment, Bindu runs and hides from Sudep, leaving Nani to attack him with the sewing needle freely. But Sudep uses his brain and gets a magnet to pull Nani with the needle he is holding and captures him. He goes and gets Bindu again and tells her, "I will torture your lover in front of you," and gets a knife to cut Nani's wings right in front of her. Nani keeps being in pain until he sees the tissue that was blocking the gunpowder pipe has fallen out, so he knows there is still hope to kill Sudep, but he has to use all his strength after his wing was cut off. He crawls onto the gunpowder, covers his body with it, flies onto a lit matchstick, and jumps inside the pipe, which ignites. It fires a bullet that hits Sudep, who is standing there unable to believe what happened. Bindu escapes from the place, and the bullet continues and hits a compressed oxygen tank, causing it to explode and burn the whole place down, finally killing Sudep. Afterward, we go to Bindu, who was going to her charity, until a guy comes up behind her and starts harassing her. But Nani arrives, his soul transformed into a fly again, and keeps annoying the guy until he knocks him to the ground, breaks the glass of his motorcycle, and writes on it, "I am back again." Talk about a clingy ex, he's literally buzzing around her forever now. Anyway, and here the movie ends. Alright, that's a wrap, my friend. Make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment from the heart. If you're really feeling the love, share this video with your crew. And yo, check out the channel. I've got tons of videos you're gonna vibe with. Catch you in the next one.